Hi YouTube, Scottish Trucker Tommy here. This video is a few incidences about us running into the new epidemic in the truck repair situation for trucks running over the road. Hope you like it, hope it's informative. Hi YouTube, Scottish Trucker Tommy here. Tonight I want to make a video about something that's concerning me. It seems to be quite a epidemic throughout the trucking industry right now that I don't know if anybody else is experiencing this or if it's just my extreme bad luck, but trucks break and we try hard to deal with things in our workshop here. If you're not new to the channel, you know that we use Lott's diesel. Jeff Lott is our mechanic here. I've known him for, oh my goodness, our kids went to school together when they were younger. Maybe 25 years I've known Jeff, and maybe a bit more. He taught me how to drive a truck. He's 3 or 4 years older than me, and one of the best mechanics that you can ever come across. Good friend. There's been situations like everybody when you're an owner operator where you get into a bit of sticky situation, and he's helped me out with doing some maintenance and let me have a little bit of credit with him. And now we share a yard in Idaho Falls. So he predominantly uses the shop, I predominantly use the yard for our trailers and stuff. And it works out well for us. First class mechanic, knows what he's doing, and it's fair prices. So we try to get everything done there. The trailers, we have a place here. I bought all my trailers bar one from this dealership in town here, Total Trailer. I deal there with Trent and Josh up in Idaho Falls. And I've bought good trailers from them. If there's a problem with one of my trailers tomorrow morning at 8 AM, I could call them up and say, hey, I need this ASAP. It's loaded, can you get on it? They would be on it. The rates would be incredibly good. And that's how we maintain our fleet. They're in the process of setting us up on a 6 weekly check thing for our trailers. Maybe get the trucks done in that way too, but they do all the trailer stuff. I'll go into the first incident here. We had a trailer back east somewhere. Wasn't in New York City or anywhere excruciatingly expensive. I think it was just near north of Atlanta or somewhere like that. And reefer unit, the driver calls us up, hey, this is not charging. And we put it in the shop to get it checked, as you do, because you know that's what you have to do to get the thing fixed. And they came up with a price to some broken wire. They charged us $350 to fix this broken wire, right? You're held to ransom, you pay it. And then we took it away, finished dropping off, and then got the same fault again. And the guy said, bring it back, we'll have a look at it for you. You know, won't charge you anything to look at it. So it needed an alternator and a battery. And the quote for them to do that was $1,500. And I told Jeff, our dispatcher, hey, don't do that. Let's just bring it back to Idaho, where incidentally, and these guys up at Total Trailer, they repaired it, fitted a new alternator, a new battery, and it cost us $600. Okay, there's $900 that we would have lost if we had those guys fix it for us. So that's one. These next two, they really hack me off. Because if you're an owner operator, so we've got a lot of trucks now, and we kind of, if we get thumped in one of them, and if we've got 12 of them, that cost is absorbed a bit. But if you're an owner operator, and everybody knows right now that it's been tight for 6 to 8 months, high fuel, cheap rates. Whenever you take your truck into a dealership or a repair place to get fixed, if you own it, you're putting your business at risk every time you take it in there, because they make the bill up. They pay you if you don't have the money to pay that bill right there, they can put a mechanic's lien on it and make you pay that money before you can get the truck back. If you get one truck and you've got a load on it, you're in a big heap of trouble. Now, I would advise anybody that's going to be going out there and running with one truck, think twice. Think twice about how you do it, because we have had issues. We've got a truck right now that has been off the road for 5.5 weeks, and the driver started it up one morning. Young Houston was driving it, fired it up, drove 100 yards along the road, warning lights came on, derate. So we get it towed to a shop, they work on it for 3.5 weeks, put a new engine speed sensor on it, NOx sensor, can't remember what, something else, and then they said, oh, we can't get the codes off, you'll need to take it to the main dealer. Never mind that, there was a $3,500 bill for what they wanted before, because they hadn't fixed it, but you have to pay that or you can't get the truck back. That's my understanding. It went to the main dealer and they said, well, actually, this truck needs the front injector harness for 1, 2, 3, the rear injector harness 4, 5, 6, an engine harness and an ECM. That's $10,800, please. It's still in there, waiting for the go-ahead. Haven't given the go-ahead. It's a lease truck. We're negotiating with a lease company and a warranty company. And warranties are a waste of time. They really, really are. Don't think that you're going to get trouble-free and cash-free trucking. So that's in there. We've got another truck, very similar situation. And this is the first one that blows my mind a bit. It was run along I-80, got to Mount Vernon or Vernon, Illinois, and driver calls us in from the rest area just before there, said my oil pressure gauge is flickering and it's causing the engine to miss a little bit. And I thought, well, here, hold up, switch it off, we'll get a wrecker, drag it in there to this dealer, Freightliner dealer, and it's in there. And they said, oh, well, I knew the first thing you would check there is the oil pressure sender unit, right? Simple to do. They did that. It didn't cure it. Next thing they said, it's an ECM, MCM they call it. Engine computer to us morons. And they ordered it. And it came in. They put it on it. Didn't cure it. That was $1,500 just for the part. And then the guy, this tech guy, he explained to me like I'm a clown. I'm not the most intelligent tech in the world, but I've done this long enough. And so he tells me, every time we squeeze the wiring harness, it throws up the fault codes. And I thought, well, couldn't you have done that in the beginning? Instead of paying all this money for parts. They did say the engine, the oil pressure switch was a bit faulty. But all I've got to do is get this harness, which was $900. So they ordered that, it came, and before they put it on, they called me up and said, before we do this, we need to get anything over $5,000, we have to get 50% of the money up front. And I said, but you're 80% of the job done. Why don't you just spend one more day, fit the wiring harness, we can't take the truck anyway, and then we'll pay the bill. He says, no, I'll need to send you an estimate over, and then there's a thing there, a link, you just click on that and pay the half of it with your credit card. So half of it was $3,750. So $3,950, something like that. So I said, send me over a quote, will you? So I know what we're doing. And he sends it over to me. Oil pressure sensor unit, sensor, was $65. And then he charged diagnostic fee of so many hours. Then to fit this switch was like an hour and 45 minutes. And I thought, that's quite an easy thing to do. It's like a freaking spark plug. Anyway, he sent that through, and it was $499 to supply and fit this sender unit. And I said, what's that $150 for? Oh, no, so let me go back. The next thing is the ECM, $1,500. So many hours to fit it. And I thought, it's an ECM, it's a plug. 4 bolts, done. So, and then the diagnostic stuff for that. And then the wiring harness, he said, because they told me it's about 8 hours to do this wiring harness. He said, well, we're going to charge you for 12 in the estimate, just in case. We'll put an extra $150 in here for incidental parts. And here is the big con in truck repairs, right? The bill's $7,000 for parts and labour. $155 an hour. It's bad enough. They're charging more than... I went to the place here in Idaho Falls, our dealer. I said, what is the book time? Because I asked them, are you doing flat rate in these jobs? Yep, flat rate. So that means if the job's 8 hours, they'll charge you 8 hours to do it. If they do it in 5, they win 3 hours. That's just it. But if there's a slight thing that goes wrong, they charge you straight time. If they run into a complication, as in you're at their mercy, you know, which is bad enough. And the big con of the day, of this day and age, is definitely 100% shop supplies, right? Shop supplies. How the freaking heck do these workshops get away with this shop supply scenario? Because 9.5% is what the Freightliner dealership charges you over there. So, shop supplies. Now that's going to be rags to wipe the guy's hands, brake cleaner maybe, cable ties. What else? In my job that they're doing, they might have a rag or two to wipe his hands. They'll need some cable ties to put the wiring harness, you know, attach it all the way along. But for the life of me, I cannot figure out. Oh, it's just this company policy. It's a standard thing. We just charge a flat rate across the board. Some jobs have got more shop supplies than others. So you're charging me $700 in shop supplies, an extra 9.5%. How do you even justify that? Well, it's not us that get it. It goes to the company. You know, that's their policy, 9.5% for shop supplies. Toilet rolls for the toilets. What the freaking heck? Every job that goes through there, you know, who else gets to do that? We don't get to do it, you know, shop supplies. Oh, cab supplies, trailer supplies, you know. If it's cold weather, we have to put in the diesel treat stuff. We have to idle the truck longer. We can't say cold weather surcharge. Diesel supplies. We get a fuel surcharge because the fuel goes up and down. That's a part of the industry. It's a direct cost. This shop supply thing is an absolute con that these shops get to stick 9.5% onto their bills. Ridiculous. Next one, that's still ongoing. They haven't fixed it yet. It's supposed to be fixed on Tuesday. Do I get to claim loss of earnings when it's been sitting there? No chance. You're never going to get it because they always say parts, can't get the parts. So that's going to be almost a 5-figure sum there before we get that truck out of the shop. Guarantee you. Just see it coming. If you're a one-man band and that's what you've got, you're and you don't have the cash to pay it, you need to find the cash because nobody's going to let you take it away. We have another one down in New Mexico, in the oil field this time. And this one saddens me quite a bit because these guys helped us before. We had a truck shear a drive line, twist a drive line, landed on the floor, took out some airlines on the oil pad. I called up a recovery truck to pull it away. They showed up, took it away, found the drive line, guy up during the night, get it on the road. Fantastic people, great, we had a good relationship with them. And they charged me $4.5 grand for that. And I thought, well, that's not bad. It's just part of doing business if you're down there. If the truck breaks in an oil pad, you know, you've got to get it off, blocking the whole thing. And then to supply it and go to different breakers yards and get it, pay it, got the truck on the road. We had another truck breakdown, that just an old one. I called them up to take it down there, to recover it and take it back to their place, because I thought, well, they've got a lot of junk trucks down there, maybe get a used engine. They did find a used engine for it, for a Cummins ISX. They wanted to supply and fit an engine for me and wanted to charge me $26,000 for a used engine, supplied and fit. And I said, nah, you're too high. Well, we'll do it for 22 for you. We just took $4 grand off it that quickly. Then he come down to 19, and that, you know, they thought they were doing me a favour at that. I still don't think they are. But here's the deal, here's the rub. We had a Volvo 670 running down through there, and I don't want to mention these guys' name, I'm not into that type of thing. This is just to show you how the repairs can go. It had an air leak. We put it in to get the air leak fixed, and as if lightning should strike me right now, we put it in there. They messed about with it, said, oh, it's the valve behind on the chassis, behind the cab, it's not the tractor protection valve, it's the other one with a lot of airlines coming out of it. We don't know what it's called. Okay, alarm number one. We can't get it anywhere. We might have one here that we can put on it. So, long story short, they went and got a valve, fitted it, didn't cure the problem. Air dryer valve, spit valve at the bottom of it, took it off and cleaned it, didn't cure the problem. It kept leaking at other places. The regulator valve, they changed that, and then they ended up washing out the system with Dawn wash soap and water. So I think it should have been solvent or something like that, but they washed it out with that, and they gave me a bill for $10,069 for an air leak. And I said, you guys are freaking, you're out of your mind if you think I'm paying over 5 figures to fix an air leak. Well, we had a lot of labour in it, and so I started going down through the thing. Well, what's this $500 call out charge? You never charged me a call out the last time, all the time before, and another thing we had done. You never charged me any call outs, all of a sudden there's a 500, oh wait a minute, and they took it from their workshop, hold on, they took it from their workshop to another workshop to get worked on. Not my idea of what should be happening down there. So $500 call out charge, $450 for an after hours call out charge because the truck lost its air at 8 o'clock at night. So they went out there. I got $450 for the guy to put his boots on. Sorry, $500 for him to put his boots on. $450 because it's at 8 o'clock. So I'm at $950 before he's even moved out the yard. And then I've got in the next line $2,600 for 5 hours labour. So I said, what is this here? My son spotted that actually. I said, how do you get to charge me $2,600 for 5 hours? You never had a recovery truck. There was nothing like that. How does that work? Oh, I think that's a misprint. Is it really? Yeah, the 450 and the 500, and they never ever charged me an after hours rate either. It's just you can look at an invoice and know when it's been padded when somebody's trying to take advantage of you. So 500, he said that's the 500 call out, the 450 after hours, and the 5 hours are on there. All of those come to 1650. So we should really have the, you know, it's a misprint. It's not a misprint, it's a misprint is something that you slip your finger. You know, that's just an absolute mistake that's been caught. So I said, listen, I don't own this truck directly. There's another 2 guys who are partners in this with me here. There's actually 5 of us, but I said there's another 2 guys on here that are actively involved in this. They want to see what this is all about. Give me a proper invoice. You know, I don't want to be paying call out charges and late night, you know, 8 o'clock at night fees and stuff. So it's a misprint. They send me the invoice back, and I could, you know, I could show you on here. I don't want to put names on, just in case somebody does put it on. So, but they changed the misprint. They left the 500 on there. They left the 450 on there, and they took a little tiny bit off the. No, they didn't take anything off actually. I don't think. Maybe $400, and they changed the hours that they worked from 5 hours to 10 hours. That was the misprint. Oh, we didn't have enough hours on there. Rather than lower the bill a little bit, so we're fighting all that now. They told me to get stuffed and don't bother paying the bill because I'll never agree to what it was. But it's over 10 grand. There's $2,600 for 5 hours work. You know, the thing's still leaking air, and they want 10 grand off me. They've got my old white international truck down there. He says, well, just don't bother paying it, we'll keep your truck. So anytime you put your truck into a workshop, you've got this. In my mind, it's criminal to charge 9.5% for shop supplies. What can it be? It's not oil because they'll charge you for oil. It's not coolant because they'll charge you coolant. How is a bill? So if you put that truck in there to get an engine overhaul and it's $35,000, you're going to be paying about $3,400 for shop supplies. How? Why? What is that for? That is just to profiteer, stick extra money on it and call it shop supplies. You know, we could go through the trucking industry and stick 9.5% on and call it, you know, drivers' laundry supplies or whatever the freaking heck you want. But it's criminal that they get to do this. Whenever you put your truck into a shop, on the road, I would say 8 times out of 10, the people that you're putting it into think, I ain't going to see this guy again. Just stick it to him. And that seems to be the mentality now. Stick it to the people who run over the road who put their trucks into you. So if you're running a truck, get it find somebody. First of all, if you're going to go into the game, as I know, a one-man band with one truck, if you don't have a mechanical ability, don't do it. Go drive for somebody, work in a shop, drive for somebody, and learn from their expensive mistakes that you're going to have to watch get done in your truck that you're driving for somebody else. So if you don't have the ability, don't do it. If you're going to do it, find somebody that you can trust locally that you can put your truck into. I've had trucks going to Jeff that look fine. Hey, and we always get him to do our oil changes, well I do. Some of the guys get them done on the road with loves and that just doesn't work out. But if you put it into Jeff, change the oil, when they're greasing the truck, Jeff will say, hey, your carrier bearings wore out or it's not got long to go. You know, you maybe go to Denver and back, but we'll get the parts ordered in for you so that next time you're coming back through we can get it done. If you can't do that, don't bother doing the trucking either. So you need to get a good mechanic that you can trust, that is reasonably priced, and have him look your truck over every time it comes home, so that when it's in your workshop, at your base, he can look at it and throw a cursory eye over it and say, hey, that hose is bulging too much. Let's just change that. Because if you have to get it done on the road, somebody's going to tow you in and rape you. It's going to go into a shop. Who knows what they are now? You know, I've had a truck in a shop that was $206 an hour down in the oil field. And then they're not happy enough with that. They'll stick a big markup on the parts And then on top of that, once the bill's all done, oh, by the way, shop supplies, an extra 9.5%. This is a main dealer that we're dealing with over here. And some of the smaller guys are just right at that as well. You can charge whatever they like for shop supplies, you know. Depends how fair they want to be with you or how much they want to rip you off. But this is ripping through the industry, and I don't know if it's the same in the UK or in Australia. I know get some subscribers from those countries in different parts of the world. But certainly in the United States right now, this thing called shop supplies is just a way to gouge you. You know, if you see the hourly rate and it says 140, you can be guaranteed it'll be 154 by the time you get out of there. And if they tell you that, oh, that part's $1,400, then when I have 10% on it, it'll be $1,540. So it's horrendous. It's taking the fun out of it for us. We're going to a bank this week, looking at changing some of the older stuff. That truck, the little green truck that we've just put on there, we need to upgrade the age of the fleet, lower miles on it, so as we're not going into these repair situations. But if you can run an old truck, that green one that we've got there, you know, I've had Jeff go through that, and you know, if it's slightly questionable, change it. Do you want to use one or a new one? A new one. Because I'm afraid of breaking down the road. They just can't afford it. You're out of business. It just becomes, how many 5-figure repairs can an owner-operator pay in this market and still be in business in 6 months' time? You know, high fuel, low rates, and workshops gouging you. Sorry, this sounded like a moan, but I hope it goes into somebody's ears. And if you're thinking about getting a truck, I hope what I said there doesn't put you off, but be aware, this is what's coming your way. Don't think because it's you, it won't happen to you. If it's happened to somebody else, it can happen to you. So, thanks for watching. Speak to you later.